Another thing that really strikes me is that you've mentioned that you previously were in business consulting, operations, processes, that type of focus. And you obviously brought this now to your current business. Have you found that when you're talking to other real estate investors, they don't place as much emphasis on that as they probably should?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times the shiny new exciting tech or the shiny new exciting asset class or opportunity can really be distracting. And so it's not glamorous, honestly. The blocking and tackling of processes and project management software, it's not something that's necessarily somebody's first inclination of how to set up a successful business. They're thinking about, how do I become the innovator? How do I become the new guy in town that has this concept no one's ever thought of? And I think that's actually what held me back in my entrepreneur story. And in a way, I'm glad I spent the time that I did working for others, because I learned so much in that decade in corporate America. But in my back of my head, I always knew I wanted to do something on my own. I thought that too, though, that I had to have something new and exciting. What we're doing is nothing earth shattering. It's still general contracting. It's still just basic flows and everything. We're not innovating some massive new tech that's like utilizing AI. It's all very basic, but what we're doing is executing consistently. And I think you're exactly right. A lot of folks will lose sight of that and not put in the work day after day that it takes to actually build a repeatable process that you can outsource and ultimately set up to run independent of you.
One of the things that I've said quite a few times on the show is that whatever you focus on is what's going to grow. And it's important to niche down and find your business purpose, if you will, and actually define that with, and I'm going to remind everybody, head over to snapadu.com, because your website provides a good example of this, where you've provide this focus. And there is a point and a place where you might consider other investment opportunities, but there's a ton of power and strength into providing this level of focus and deciding whether something is part of your core business and whether you're going to tackle it or not. Can you talk a little bit to the fact that it seems like a lot of your success could be pointed to you being in a particular niche?
100%. And if I back it up to where both Mike and I had come from, when I first left corporate America to experiment in real estate investing, I thought I was going to be doing small multifamily. I thought about syndications. I ended up buying an asset in Columbus, Ohio. There was all sorts of experimenting along the way. And meanwhile, Mike was working in contracting, doing new home construction, renovations, experimenting with ADUs. And I think the power really did happen when we said, let's specialize in ADUs in North County, San Diego. At that time, we were just in a smaller subset of, now we're all of greater San Diego. And we were beginning the ADU journey by bidding on anything that would walk in the door. Somebody wanted to convert a garage, great. Somebody wanted to add 6 ADUs in an area where they could convert that space, let's do that too. And we were just not learning quickly enough. And so once we decided to say, you know what, let's just do detached, because that's more repeatable. All we have to then worry about is the site conditions. The build itself will be exactly the same every time. It's just new construction. That's something we understand. It allowed us to save our time that we were spending trying to do all these bespoke projects. We were able to really start getting the ones that would go through a system more reliably. And also, when you do that, you're able to more quickly produce content that is concentrated. So at the same time, we started building our website out, and all of our content was focused on ADUs in San Diego. Other much bigger builders are also doing ADUs, but it's in addition to their core business. And to your point, when you don't have that exclusive focus, it's harder to rank in things like SEO search results. It's harder to build, that almost name brand recognition, where in our market, like everyone has seen Snap ADU signs. And since it is our name, it's so clearly defined what we're doing. And then lastly, there's this joy of missing out. Everyone's heard of FOMO, like fear of missing out. We have JOMO all the time when we see leads come in that are like complex, weird things where it's like, there's probably an opportunity there, but I don't want to do that. I'm sure a contractor who's going to go pick up that job and there's money there. And in the beginning, when you're turning away these jobs, it's a little scary. We turned away some really big jobs, and Mike was doing the same thing as he was getting out of all the different development that he was doing. So turning away work at first feels really tenuous, but once you start doing it and then you really know what you're focused on, it's this giant relief. It's like, we just build ADUs that are detached in San Diego. It's all we do.
What's interesting there, and it's an important lesson for everybody, is the fact that you not only are niching in a particular construction, but you're niching in a particular location. And a lot of people get into wholesaling when it comes to real estate investing for the first time. And it's more of a shotgun approach. They'll try to get anything and everything under contract across a large area. But to have that type of niching in multiple categories is really telling.